the Ring doorbell, even though I know they got problems, where it's just like, oh, hey, do I need to go upstairs to answer this? No, I don't recognize the person, so I'm just going to let it ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
By the way, the stream is on now.
But then I'm on the doorbell, and you're like, yeah, that's Philip.
Yeah. So we are live at this point. I'm seeing bars move.
We are live!
Woo!
Champions! What?
So this is great because Eric doesn't understand any of these.
Completely decontextualized.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, that's the best ones aren't, or the best ones are.
Got him!
Yeah, that one you have to like cut off because it's the whole clip,
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
the whole
like
7 seconds of the clip. And it's like, nope.
It drags on.
You wouldn't think 7 seconds is a long time, but when you're listening to that little clip, you're just like, oh, shut up.
All right. We've tested stuff, sent out the thing. If somebody's in chat yet, I don't think so because I'm seeing zeros on there, but send a message just so I know. I should probably just... Hey, there you go. Hey, look, Philip's in the chat. Oh, you're sending it from everyone. Good job.
How many times is Philip in the chat? Oh, wow, Philip's all over the chat. Except for YouTube.
You're not on YouTube, or YouTube's not working?
YouTube did not send.
Okay.
Oh, well, hang on. It did say error, try again.
It's at least good feedback.
Yeah, you know, if I wasn't being overzealous, I probably would have.
All right, I gotta ask just in case, because I'm always afraid I'm gonna screw somebody's name up. Is it Yurko?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and is it just okay?
Yep, it's you would be astonished number of people who are like Yorko, and I'm like, you're adding letters.
Oh no, I know.
I'm like Yurko, just Yurko.
I've got
all in one go.
I've gotten Rinshal, where they just add like an L at the end, and like Crinshaw.
Mm-hmm. My sister got Jennifer Yuck once, which I was really pleased with. I think about that one a lot. Just like, I was like, this letter's addressed to Jennifer Yuck. And I was like, I was maybe like 13 at the time, so it was probably the highlight of my life, and it may still be.
Yeah, well, like that's the target age range for that joke.
Oh yeah, because imagine like you're little and your sibling just gets something that's addressed to a completely wrong last name, and you're just like, Jennifer Yuck. Hilarious.
I got something here for a Tony Stank.
Yeah, exactly.
It has exactly that energy, and I love it.
Oh, we lost a viewer.
They just got really upset that you made a Tony Stank joke.
That's probably what it was.
They're like, my mother's last name is Stank, and you're like, That's unfortunate.
No, it was more of like, they're like, oh, these people clearly have no idea what they're doing. Next channel.
Well, they're not wrong.
All right. Okay. I always have that like safety, like, oh God, did I hit record?
Oh, did you hit the?
I did. I did it.
Well, I thought you set it up to like as soon as it gets input, it just.
No. The recorder? No.
Yeah, it doesn't have that weird standby mode on it.
Oh, it does. It has the standby mode, but it doesn't auto get out of that.
Okay.
All right. Let's get this show started since it's like 30 minutes after when I thought it would be.
All right, everyone do tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips. Tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
Oh, so close to more Letterkenny. So close. All right. I explained to Eric how the show will go, and although I didn't say it to you, Philip, I mentioned it briefly. I don't have any news, just because I didn't really. Yeah, none of that.
All right.
So we'll just go straight into banter.
Okay.
And then
Some would say we already have.
Yeah. Well, yes. And then at the end, I'd have a news-related game show that's not like make you want to kill yourself news-related. Pop culture.
That's fine.
Pop culture. Let's go there. Okay.
Pub culture.
Pub culture. No, because we shouldn't be out there.
Exactly.
All right. We'll get things rolling start the show in 3, 2, 1. Thanks to everyone who supported us over at patreon.com/boardsandswords. Check it out if you want additional content like pre-show, after-show stuff and like that. Live from Swordplay Studios, it's time for Boards and Swords! Yippee! As I look over from the chat, it's just Philip writing a message a bunch.
That's how it gotta be.
All right. Hey there, everybody. Philip, you don't have to let it play out like all the way out. You know you could like after a while start. There you go.
You gotta give a guy a chance to click me.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Boards and Swords. This is a podcast, in case you didn't know. You happen to download it. This is a podcast where we talk about board games and board game adjacent things. We're all about bad jokes, good folks, and some games every now and then. With me tonight is, as always, my partner in crime, Mr. Philip Herbig.
Shh, people are looking for me.
Why?
I don't. You said in crime. What crime did we commit? I don't know if I agreed to this crime.
I always heard it was like a daring jewel heist.
Oh,
We were. Ooh,
it was a time
yes.
heist.
That's right.
And then that other sound you hear, that is Mr. Eric Yurko from What's Eric Playing?
Good evening, friends. So I was thinking about the thing you said earlier about this is a podcast in case you didn't know, maybe harken back to like the glory days of LimeWire, where you could ostensibly have downloaded, the entire Meteora album by Linkin Park, but instead gotten this podcast. Like, I feel like if podcasts had been like super big in the LimeWire days, that would have been how you do it. You like upload your podcast to LimeWire, you call it Hybrid Theory Linkin Park.
Yeah,
like,
you changed
a bunch
that.
of angry tweets downloaded by mistake. If I ever go back in time, that's what I'm doing.
You would have to chop the podcast up into bits because I always compared file sizes.
Oh yeah.
I was like, all right, if this
plus
song
when
I'm downloading,
I'm talking about full album downloads. So like,
Oh, yeah.
you're me, you're 12, you're mad at your dad, you're
Yeah.
downloading Meteora, and you're like, this will make me feel better. You don't check. You just see a 42, 45-minute like MP3, and you're like, that's right. Or a .exe file that you think is an MP3 for some reason, you run it, and suddenly your computer dies.
Yeah.
yes.
The good old days.
That reminds me of when I was a freshman in college. They were all like, music piracy is a bad thing. We need to find a way to combat this. And it was, how do we do that? Well, let's just give them all like a year free of a streaming music service, and maybe they won't pirate stuff. Go figure. And so it was like, the options were like Rhapsody, the redone Napster after they had like the lawsuit, and then there was another one that's the one I ended up doing because it also had like movies and stuff available. Like this is 2004, like this is before Netflix streaming and all that.
Yeah, I was wondering because I was like music streaming. Like I remember Pandora and being like internet radio.
Yeah. Or it may not have been streaming. It may have been like you downloaded it, but it had to be in their software. Like that was the only place you could play it.
Oh, yeah.
I just remember thinking in like 2006, one day Pandora will let me play any song that I want.
Yeah.
What a daring dream.
And then it was like, oh, Pandora's so cool because like I find all these things for like different new thing. Like, oh, I like that, and I like that, and then like a month later, like I thought I was supposed to be finding new stuff. I'm just hearing like the same 20 songs.
You just eventually hit the point where you're like, Pandora has shown me Radiohead, and we started off at like, you know, a Christmas radio station, and somehow we have ended up once again, inevitably, at Radiohead.
Hey, it was better than what I was using before Pandora, which was the Yahoo Radio, and its little real media player.
Oh
Yeah.
Which was
What did
just
I
as
use?
bad as like radio, because like every like in between songs it'd be like, you're listening to Yahoo Radio, subscribe or pay us money and you get unlimited skips.
Yeah.
None of these commercials anymore.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The
Ugh.
first computerized music player I used was a Music Match.
Ooh.
Oh, I haven't even heard of this one.
I think it came pre-bundled with my Windows Millennium Edition computer.
Windows Me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Takes me back.
I got lucky and I got to avoid that one.
I heard that one was fine.
And by
was-
avoid it, I mean that I was still using my 486 with Windows 3.1 when that came out.
I think I was running 98 for a while, then I was running 2000, then I switched over to XP, and the whole time Roller Coaster Tycoon played flawlessly, and I've
Nice.
always respected it for that.
95,
does not
95
play.
my favorite game was the Hover game that came on the Windows 95 disc.
Mhm.
Which
Mine
was
was Rodent's Revenge.
Rodent's Revenge was always fun.
Rose. Yeah, that was on my 3.1 machine. So yeah.
That's a good one.
Dude.
It came up in a review I was writing the other day. I can't remember what the context was, but definitely I had to go out and link to like an online playable game of Rodent's Revenge, because I was like, it was somehow you could like wall people in, and I was like, yeah, just like Rodent's Revenge. And I was like, I need to provide context because that game came out like almost 30 years ago.
It's like that was a great segue, kind of like back into board games there.
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about LimeWire the whole night.
I mean, I think I may know what I title this episode now. Totally not Meteora.
Yeah, I was going to say Hybrid Theory Linkin Park.mp3.
I like to say that. Well, first of all, you want to talk about what Eric's playing is, so just to give people some context.
I always forget about that. I forget that I do things. Yeah. Hey everyone, my name's Eric Yurko. I'm here from What's Eric Playing, a online board game review website, as most websites tend to be online. Thanks for that one. I focus on reviews and photography, so mostly written content. I do have some other stuff that I do less frequently, so I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, and I've been starting up a new series on YouTube called Late Night Table Talk, where I just sort of get on a call for about an hour or two and just sort of waste the time of whoever agrees to hang out with me. It's a good time, but it's very like talk showy sort of style, so we have fun. But yeah, board games, board game photography, board game reviews, that whole spectrum.
Yeah, this is where I hate the way that the Twitter algorithm worked, because it was like, I remember you talking about it originally, and then it wasn't until like a week ago that I saw like, and you had done a whole bunch of videos since then, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually out now.
To be fair, I did do 5 of the videos.
To be
before I
fair.
So I didn't want to launch with no content.
Right. No, that's smart. That's what they used to say back in the day. Like, you didn't put your show on the iTunes thing until you had like 3 episodes or whatever. I never followed any of that. No, I never followed any expert guidelines.
Take that, rules experts.
I do have to say though that I love, instead of the traditional calyx like what I've got here behind me, we've opted for the board game stack on a table in your background.
Yeah, it's my little anxiety stack. It's all the games that I like have in my imminent scope of reviewing that I haven't quite gotten to yet.
Oh yeah, mine's over there.
As I finish them, they get moved out of my room downstairs.
Yeah. As I finish them and then I review them, they go over onto the main stack. But
yeah, so right now they're just kind of looming.
Just as you had a out of context thing when I said the podcast, when you talked about the website online piece, took me back to my days of whenever we thought it was cool to hand code HTML pages.
Yeah.
And, like this is when computers started to be like a regular thing in a classroom. Like every teacher had at least one computer.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're like super locked down, so you can't do anything with them. So when like you were done with all your work and stuff, you'd be like, oh, I'm learning things. Can I use your computer? And like you'd pull up Notepad and save it as like an index.html and then launch it in the like Netscape that they had on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Netscape.
So, yeah, that was your offline website.
Oh yeah. Good times.
With the marquee tag, and you can see stuff scrolling around.
I was at the Blink tag, but that's
Blink was also a good one. I had this giant HTML4 book. I think I might still have it somewhere. Like this thing, I got it at like a Sam's Club. It was like $10-15, and I had that thing forever. If I don't have it anymore, I've only in the recent couple years had it. So that thing's like at least 20 years old. But it was like, no lie, seriously thick. Like, I guess for audio listeners, that's probably like 3 inches thick. Just this big, huge manual.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
my trick was when I was doing web programming for school. What I had was I had a public-facing Dropbox with a few MP3s of like very irritating songs, so like earwormy stuff, like "Never Gonna Give You Up," "Friday" by Rebecca Black, and so on the website that my TAs had to evaluate of mine for class, I had written a little thing that would autoplay the music on loop with no controls. And so it would refer randomly to one of those file names via the public-facing Dropbox that I had. And so it would essentially stream music from my Dropbox to their website, mostly to annoy them.
Wow. This is when I realized that I was like a generation too soon going through college. Like in no way would I ever want to go back and do it over again or anything like that. But like just seeing, like I went to school, I came out of school around when like the iPhone, like 2008 is when I graduated. So the iPhone launched around the time that I graduated, or a year beforehand, whatever. Like Dropbox wasn't really a thing. We were all taking thumb drives everywhere and your shared space on the network profile or whatever. Yeah, like when I went to school, we had a pilot program to see what it would be like for students to have laptops in classes. Like you bought a desktop whenever you went to college. Like most people had desktops except for like maybe one person on your floor had a laptop. And you're like, "Dang, I should have done that." But
good times.
Now my work is like, "Hey, you're ready for a tech refresh some point time next year. Do you want a desktop or a laptop?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Who sends that out in this day and age?"
Yeah, I was eligible for a refresh for my work laptop, but they're not doing refreshes this year because they're focusing everyone's energy on what's it looking for? Repairs.
Yeah,
because it is, to be fair, more important to make sure that broken stuff gets repaired than it is for me to be like, a new laptop.
I was talking because like one of the few things I've actually had to physically go into my office for is just because sometimes the computer don't work unless you take it in and hook it into their network. But I'd be on the phone with IT, and he's like, "Yeah, it's always like the reverse of what you want. Like the people that want to be back in the office, their computers will work perfectly fine. It's the people that don't mind being at home. They're the ones always having the issues."
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught mine unless I actually redid my desk setup recently to like move some monitor heights around. So like I can now slide out my laptop, take it and go, and that's been very helpful. Helps a little bit with the reviewing stuff as well, just be able to be a little bit more mobile inside of the house as opposed to like locked in this room.
Oh yeah, and for those wondering, we don't have news bits this week because I didn't see anything really worthwhile in the board game sense. I could have thrown Kickstarters, and it could have been all Kickstarters, but even that was just like, eh. We're just kind of like overloaded with new every day. There's a new Kickstarter and stuff. Although that new what's it called, ISS Vanguard, I keep seeing some buzz about that, and it looks like it could be good. But
ISS Vanguard?
I know very little about it.
It's an Awakened Realms game.
Oh.
But it's the only downside is I had seen like what was it, Sarah's video, the board games in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen her video on it and somebody else's, but I was like, oh, I've not. Is this thing live or whatever? But it turns out I don't think they're using Kickstarter. They're using like that GameFound website. I know.
Hey, I'm on that website right now.
I tend to hop off Kickstarter stuff in like December generally, just because usually for the holidays it's very difficult for me to get Kickstarter previews done because I'm like, oh, for 2 weeks I'm going to be like seeing my family who doesn't particularly like board games, so not going to get any plays there.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying to be in my like parents' house and be like, oh, sorry, I'd love to hang out and do holiday stuff, but I gotta get this preview done
that I'm not getting paid for.
And they're like, oh, so it's like a job that you do for free. And I'm like, well, no, because it's worse than that. I like playing board games, but yeah, I usually try to avoid doing Kickstarter previews in the like December block.
I just avoid doing Kickstarter previews at all. That's what happens when you're a real stickler for components. I'm like, just let me get it. If you're gonna want a decent review for me, I'm gonna want the final thing because I'm not a print and play person.
Yeah, I see it as kind of a community service thing almost. Like a lot of places are getting themselves started on Kickstarter, and so you're like, all right, every few months I'll like check one out and see if it's fun. And there are a few places that only do their stuff via Kickstarter. So like Weird Drafts and Galactic Raptor, right? So they're mostly Kickstarter shops. So I try to check out their stuff when it's still pretty early.
Oh, I'll back stuff, but yeah, I'd try and stay away from the previews. What have you been playing? Huh?
I don't think I've backed anything in a while. Last thing I backed was maybe Railroad Inc.
That may have been. I backed. Last thing I backed that off the top of my head was Cartographer's Heroes.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
That is one I did play a prototype of, but it was basically done because like it's just they sent me the one that was just the paper and.
Oh yeah. I played a prototype of the original Cartographers.
Yeah.
What fun.
It was funny because I took like, I brought it to them and I was like, "Here, do you want this back?" And they're like, "No," because I wanted the full retail copy because that I'm a stickler for components that way.
Right.
So it's like, "Here, you want this back?" And then no.
I think I still have a prototype copy of Cartographers from the original Kickstarter.
Yeah, I do too. It's over there. That's why Philip we were playing the actual Cartographers. He's like, "Am I seeing double? There's another Cartographers box over there."
See, we were talking Kickstarters. I very quickly remembered the Kickstarter I just recently backed sent me the pledge manager information on that website GameFound that Eric mentioned. I was like, oh yeah, I should very quickly finalize my pledge.
Oh, Chris mentioned it. I know nothing about GameFound.
Oh, okay.
It's just another one of those. We want to do Kickstarter without Kickstarter, forgetting the fact that the reason Kickstarter does well is because people are on Kickstarter.
Oh, that used to be me. I would just be like chilling out and just like browsing Kickstarter's new page, like any new games coming out, which like worked pretty well for a long time. I mean, I blew money, but now I'm trying to order less.
Well, I still know people that like. There's people in our local group that's what they do. Is like, oh, I backed this latest game.
Yeah, I think my local friend group tends to look to me as like the person who has all the games, so why bother buying games? And I'm like, that is fair in its own regard, because I do engage in a little bit of tyranny when it comes to game night, because I'm just sort of like, here's a game that I need to review. And they're like, what about this other game that you know is fun? And I was like, you can play it.
See, the problem, the way around that is just don't go to that group very often, so they can't count on you for games. And
like
then
your boy's on a deadline.
You just have multiple groups. That's why.
Right. in the before times, you know.
In the before times, yeah. Oh, I mean that's why. Like I've got people that they're like, I'll check in and be like, hey, just want to let you know, I still plan on playing your game. I just my wife and the stepdaughter just don't play games.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, thankfully most places have been very accommodating, but I have been like my game groups are fragmented. Like if I can get it played remotely, I can play it, but I'll be honest, like I have an overhead camera set up over there with like, you know, the ability to play games remotely. I can do probably one of those every couple of days. And if I do it, I get exhausted. Like it's just a lot of work because you not only have to play the game, right, but you're also playing everybody
else's,
and you're having that managed by other people remotely who are like, could you move this blue tile to this spot? And you're like, did I do it right? And they're like, no. I'm like,
yeah, that's why I got that. I backed that Vorpal board Kickstarter, and I keep meaning to do stuff with it, and then I just don't.
Yeah, I tend to ask companies a little bit more if they've got like Tabletopia versions of stuff or Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
Not because that's the only way I'm going to review any physical copy for photography reasons, but
right.
like it is helpful to get stuff played via Tabletopia, unless it's like, what is it, super complicated. Like Dominations is a lot of fun, but it definitely took us an extra 45 minutes because we were playing it on Tabletopia. That's how it do sometimes.
Hey, I finally got the crew though.
Hey, there you go.
It was our store had a Black Friday sale, and it was $10. And I was like, well, I feel like the only person that hasn't played, like the only reviewer that hasn't played the crew, so at $10, I feel like I'm kind of required to.
Right. Now it's reasonable. Like if we had been in a spot where like there were more like Secret Santas or like friend gatherings happening this year, I think half of my friends would probably be getting the crew, and the other half would probably be getting Abandon All Artichokes.
That's where.
What is Abandon All Artichokes? I have not heard.
Oh, you haven't heard about it? Oh man. Now I can start like spouting off accolades. I think it was on like Popular Mechanics Toy and Game Award list, best game of the year. Like just no, Emma Larkin's. It's a sort of entry-ish deck builder from GameRight. It's basically you start off with a number of artichokes. I really want to say 10, and that could be wrong. And you just take a card from the market row, and you can play a card from your hand, and your goal is to draw a hand of cards with no artichokes in it. So you can either do like thinning, you can try and get rid of all the artichokes you have. You can try to do the thing where you just take as many cards as possible to try and decrease the likelihood of anyone coming up. You can try to pass your artichokes off to someone else. It's a super good, like, entry-ish level deck builder. And the art's great. Comes a little cute little tin. Like, big fan.
All right. Hey, with this new setup, I can actually flip to a view and like bring up BGG pages and show off.
Right.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, it's a very cute game. Big fan.
Oh, that's definitely my style. Oh, it's a GameRight game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's 100% GameRight fresh.
GameRight's been doing good work this year. The Metro X remake was also good.
Oh, that is one I haven't played, but I really want to. I saw somebody's review of it, and it was when we were doing the first Punch Board Parade, and somebody did a video about Metro X, and I was like, ooh, because I had to watch that clip over and over again while I was editing, and I was like, I really want to play this now.
It's a lot of fun. I think I like it a lot. Metro X is one of my favorite like flip and right, roll and right adjacent titles.
I just like
they actually made the GameRight version of Metro X is a little, I don't want to say easier because I feel like that biases the thing that I'm going to say next, but I think the card distribution is a little bit more friendly to players than the original Metro X is.
Okay.
Like it is much more possible to get a like high score, whereas the original Metro X, like coming out of like a Kazu brand, is just sort of punching you in the teeth, and you're like, that's fine. I didn't want those points anyways.
Ah, yes. As a person who plays Arkham Horror, the card game, I know that feeling all too well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that.
So what have you been playing recently, though?
Okay, let's see here. I played Whistle Mountain. I know that one. I played that one. What else? Have I
Oh,
played
that's the
recently?
new Bezier that's in like the same
Yeah.
universe as Whistle Stop.
Yeah. We had a really weird configuration of like abilities, and also I think we played the game slightly wrong. So I'm hoping that the next game will iron out some of the things that we were like, that was odd. Because everyone I've talked to, I talked to some friends afterwards about it, and I was like, this weird thing happened, and they're like, are you sure that was correct? And I'm like, I'm not sure that was correct. So we were playing it for the first time, so. You know how these things tend to do. Castles of Tuscany. That one hit the table again. One of the rare times that I've actually played a game after I've reviewed it. So that's pretty much my whole statement about it. It's a lot of. I really like it. It's just like it's exactly it's the exact weight of a game that I want to play. Where I'm like, I have to do a little bit of thinking. Threw some cards at something. Got a marble. And was like, yeah, that's good. What else have I been playing?
I'm gonna nod my head because I've never played Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah, Burgundy I haven't played. Too long for me. Tuscany though.
Oh, so it is different enough. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Tabletopia. You can play it. It's online for free. What else have I been playing? I had something that was. I was playing Sprawlopolis Interstate.
Is that the one that they just did the Kickstarter for? No, I'm thinking of Agropolis, yeah.
Agropolis, had a blast with. Think it's great. Sprawlopolis Interstate is also nice. It turns it into a 2-player competitive game because it has an interstate cutting across the middle of it. So you're both building smaller Sprawlopolis cities on either side.
Okay. I have to. Is that out or is that?
I think it's out
in development.
Yeah, I think it's out. I'll be honest, I sometimes lose the thread of like, is something out or not?
Right.
And I'll just be like, I hope so, but I believe I think I was writing it up the other day, and I think I checked their site, and it is currently available. I was doing that. Played Chai.
Oh, it's an older title.
It's not that old.
I mean,
it's new to me.
2018. 2018, I think.
There's someone on the internet, some like very bitter gamer who is now furious that you called a 2018 title older.
Well, I didn't say old. I said older.
Which... I once called Dominion old, and someone lost their mind.
Oh, Dominion is old, and Dominion should be buried in.
It came out in 2009, right? Like, I was 17. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dominion is old and should be buried into the ground.
Oh, come off it. Oh. It's got a lot of stuff.
Yes, clearly.
But yeah, no, everything I've been fortunate that everything I've been playing has been pretty fun. Dominations was a good time. It's just a complex game. It took us about 3 hours to get through it, I think.
Is that? I can't see the title from here, but just right above, it looks like you almost have Flux the board game on there. Is that?
Which one?
That stack, the second from the bottom.
Oh, second from the bottom. This one, Gates Amara?
One below that, I think.
Oh, this one, Dominations?
Oh, okay. So Gates. Okay, it was the Gates of Amara one. Okay, just the way that when zoomed out from this year, it was like that almost looks like Flux the board game, and that was definitely a while ago.
That was no. Gates Amara is WizKid's new title.
Yes, yeah. I think that's that's not one of the Magic based ones, is it?
You know, Magic the Gathering based ones?
Because I know WizKids is doing some of the, or maybe it was I saw that and it just reminded me of some of their Magic the Gathering based titles.
Yeah, maybe. I was playing Super Skill Pinball 4K.
Oh, I still need to play that.
It's heady, but it's fun. Like it very much is like, yes, this has accurately simulated a pinball. It's sort of like, you know how Flamme Rouge, you're like, yes, this has accurately simulated a bicycle race. And then it comes down to, do I like bicycle races or not?
Yep.
This Super Skill Pinball 4K comes down to, do I like pinball or not? And I like pinball, so I'm like, yes, this is a fairly accurate representation of pinball as a like roll and write game. And I like pinball, so that scans. Yeah, it's just hard to teach remotely.
Yeah.
Hasn't seen a lot of play because it's sort of like, yes, so what happens is I'm going to roll this die, you're going to move this ball, the bumpers are going to be into play, but if you hit a bumper, it moves you here, but the red die is going to send you back up this way, but then also if you get a yellow value, you can go this way, and they're like, please stop, sir. or rather, more accurately, sir, this is a Wendy's.
No, you were at the Pizza Hut, and then you're at the Taco
Combination
Bell.
Pizza Hut and Taco Bell.
I've been taking it old school, and by that I at least mean a game that's 25 years old at least.
Okay, I was about to ask how much Dominion have you played? Because it sounds like you love it.
Catan is actually what I'm talking about.
Oh, look at you.
So some backstory. My wife loves playing Catan, and in the past we had mainly been playing it on the app, just because it's great. Like, she can sit on the couch, I can sit in my chair, and we pull up our separate tablets and play. It's great, especially because you could play 2-player and have 2 AI, and it doesn't really.
Okay, I was gonna ask how you were playing. I was like, are you playing with that 2-player variant? Because the 2-player variant's actually surprisingly fun.
So I'll get to that. So I was in a store up the road a little bit, and I saw all the GameGenic official Catan stuff. And my wife's like me, where we like, like fleshing out our games with like, inserts and tokens and all sorts of stuff. So I showed her that, and she's like, "Oh, now I really want to play the physical version of Catan again." Well, it was like a week later that Target did their like half off, like everything Catan related. So I was at the store with her, and I was like, "Okay, look," because she's like, "Oh, look, they have the Catan expansions on sale. We don't have any of those." And I said, "I got to stop you right there." And I said, "Here's the problem. We have the previous version of Settlers of Catan, not Catan, like the box that sits sideways and says Settlers of Catan, the last Mayfair one."
Yeah.
And I was like, we can get all the expansions, but all the expansions have a new kind of different graphic design. It's not completely different. It's just modified enough that it's going to bother the crap out of me that it's not as similar to our Catan version. So if we're going to get the
Carcassonne problem.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so if we're going to get these expansions, we're going to have to rebuy Catan, which it is half off, so now would be the time to do it. So
just you wait till they make a 6th edition.
Ooh. Well, they'd have to make new expansions and stuff first, because we got everything.
But don't worry, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. But we have plenty of Catan for now. That's the because we ended up getting they only had 3 of the expansions, and we ended up waiting until like a week ago where they actually got like you get saved $40 if you spend $40 or more Target thing, and it was like, hey, we can get Seafarers now because they didn't have Seafarers.
Fair enough.
So but we had played the 2-player variant because it was like, oh, there's not official stuff. There's not official stuff for 2 players except for that, like not in the box.
Right.
You look up the variant, and then like I didn't like some of it, so I kind of like took some pieces from a couple of different things and kind of made our own 2-version one.
Sure.
Where it was like I took one of the variants, which was you start with 3 settlements and play to 15 points instead. But we did do the what was recommended in the official one, which is like rolling twice, and you have to roll different each time so that you substitute the generating more resources. I just don't like the tokens piece that they add, where you get these trade tokens, and you can either spend them to move the robber or spend them to like force a trade between your opponents.
Oh, interesting. That is not the variant I played with.
Yeah, like this one is like you start with like 5 tokens, and then you get more tokens by playing settlements in certain areas. Like one of them is if you play them on a shore that doesn't have a harbor, you can get like 2 tokens or something like that.
Much more complicated. Yeah, ours was like smaller board space, so you only play with like the board's kind of like a long. It's like a 3x5 as opposed to like a 5x5 like hex thing or whatever. You have fewer settlements and roads in your. I think you have fewer settlement cities and roads in your like stockpile, And then other than that, you play normally. And then the trading mechanic isn't fixed. But why would I trade with my opponent? Like, if it's just us, I'm like, I don't like. They look at me and they're like, "Do you want?" And I was like, "No trade that you can offer me, I will accept unless it is strictly better for me than it is for you." And they're like, and I'm like, "Welcome to unbounded trading mechanics." Me.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Now, my wife doesn't like it when I'm overly competitive in games, so we definitely don't. But it is like that in game. Like the first half of the game, we're definitely trading. But by the time that like cities are starting to roll out, it's like, nah, I'm not. I'm not going to trade with you.
Yeah, I think what happened was I had the last game of Catan I played, one of my players didn't realize it was a competitive game. Somehow she had thought it was a cooperative game. So when my third player would just ask her for resources, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, sure, here." And so I'm just like, I have an ongoing rule, which is never tell someone what to do on their turn.
Yeah.
Like just kind of like don't bother. And so I'm sitting there just watching her just basically be like, "Oh yeah, you can have all of my resources because we're on the same team." And I'm like, God, I hate this trading mechanic. That's like it comes down to like do you like the dice? Yes or no? Doesn't matter. I really just don't like the trading mechanic. And if you had some rules around what trading was acceptable, that would be fine. You ever played Volcano Catan?
No.
You flip over the desert tile, use it as a volcano. So what happens is if you settle on the volcano, you get a gold. If I think at certain points, if the volcano's number is rolled, you get a gold, but the volcano erupts, and then you roll dice to determine which side of the hex.
Oh, okay.
If there's a road there, it's gone. If
Right.
there's a city, if there's a settlement there, it's gone. If there's a city there, it burns down to a settlement. Little risk reward in your Catan. We tried it. It was fun enough.
By the way, there's a why me bot in the chat that says if I would read this, that would be cool. So I have to kind of, Sure. I don't usually tend to bots, but the fun fact is now that we've played the regular version, now we have like all these expansions to play, and it's like the choice of like what do I add in, and
Yeah, that's one of the reasons. So when I was first getting into board games, when I bought a game, I would buy all of its expansions, and then I realized that just gave me like really wild choice paralysis.
Oh yeah,
because I'd be like, oh, like we have 7 wonders. Do we add in cities, leaders, Babel, Armada, the extra tiles that I bought online, that one leader card that lets you play a card for free? Too much. I mean, it's like trying to play with every Carcassonne expansion.
Yeah.
One, you have to find every Carcassonne expansion, and there's like at least 3 Carcassonne expansions that are only distributed inside of a like Denny's in Norway.
I love that explanation, because yes, it does seem that way.
There's one Carcassonne expansion that like the designer has never announced, will never share with anybody, and only plays so that he alone has all the Carcassonne expansions.
Yeah.
It's just like, the ultimate game. I don't like. I saw there was one that was like, oh yes, this was a promo given out in a German magazine in 2007. And I'm like,
and there are people on BGG like trying to get that promo.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. I used to be a hawk for those sort of things. I do own a catapult, the Carcassonne catapult expansion.
Ah, didn't they have like actual working catapults on them?
Yeah, it sucks. I love it. It is the Sonic the Hedgehog of Carcassonne expansions.
Like the original Sonic the Hedgehog, like the original movie version?
It's best experienced while intoxicated, I think, is probably the like long and short way to describe it.
That explains a lot.
It's very bad. I love it. I've heard from some good sources that it is not. It is unlikely to get a reprint. I'm like, yeah, that breaks my heart, but that scans. So if you look at the new Carcassonne ones, I think they go like, yeah, we've got expansion 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. You're like, What about? No, that's all of them.
Well, now they even have like they have the big box, and then they have like multiple big boxes where it's like, oh, this is number 2, this is number 3.
Mm-hmm. And then they have the new big boxes because of the tracking rights changes for a lot of these games.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because it went from Z-Man to Rio Grande or vice versa.
I think back to Z-Man now. I think it was Rio. Yeah. It's sort of like Love Letter.
Yeah.
So Love Letter was AG for a while.
Yeah.
Now I think it's Z-Man. Are you familiar with Lost Legacy?
Yes. I've never played it, but I know it.
A lot of fun. I have no idea who owns it. I've checked AEG's site, nothing. I've checked Z-Man's site, nothing. And I'm like, well, I guess it's gone then.
So Philip, not we haven't had enough time to play any digital board games, but you had some digital games of your own.
Yes. We went on another Steam sale bender.
Ooh.
And so I picked up like Doom Eternal. I picked up this game called Drone Swarm. It's kind of this is some weird futuristic thing. The planet's been overrun, but apparently there's also human psychics, and 32,000 of them volunteered to put themselves into a weird stasis to control this drone fleet that protects this
sense.
mothership that you're in.
Oh, it's like the God Emperor from Warhammer 40K.
Or
probably,
you ever played Battle Tanks? That game made no sense. It was basically like, I think it was something like a plague wiped out most of the world's women, and the ones who survived had like superpowers, and so there were all these like tank wars over them. And I was like even young me, I was like, is this some weird misogyny? And they're like, hot maybe. And I'm like, but the tank powers were cool, and I was also 8, so like, you can't expect me to do some hard-hitting video game criticism until I'm at least 9.
So we also picked up Destiny and a bunch of those expansions. Destiny 2, excuse me. Destiny 2. What else did I pick up? I picked up a bunch of single-player stuff too, just because I learned
I'm just
that
gonna
I
keep
have to
chanting Hades. Hades.
I learned that I have to do that because our internet went out, and this was months ago. Our internet went out for like 3 days, and apparently there's a setting hidden in all of like the things, which is it's just a simple checkbox says allow offline play.
Yeah, in Steam.
In Steam, in Epic, in GOG, and all that stuff. Yeah, you can't click the button unless you're online.
Yeah, that'll teach you.
Yeah, so that was as soon as the internet came back, I downloaded everything. I have Magic the Gathering Online 2014 downloaded. I'm never gonna play it.
You might.
It's just. I mean, you're not wrong. I might just because I said it, but it's there. It's downloaded. But that's what we've been occupying our time with every night.
Oh, that ain't bad. I've been playing a fair bit of video games recently. Some good ones, and then some fine ones.
Fine ones.
I've just been playing, video game wise, just been playing Pokemon Sword because I never finished that.
I think I'm gonna get Pokemon Home, upload all my Pokemon to it, and then just start fresh at some point. Like I really want to start fresh and be like, I made a bunch of mistakes in Pokemon Sword. All of them where I didn't have a fire type. No spoilers about the game. Just I didn't have a fire type, and that really messed me up later on. But like, yeah.
I always pick the fire starter, so I never have that problem.
I got Sobble. I was like, this lizard is sad, and I really sad. No, I've been playing Immortals: Phoenix Rising, that new Ubisoft game.
Mm-hmm. I have seen stuff about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I frequently refer to it as the "Is Pepsi okay" of Breath of the Wild. Like, Like at some level, like that is what it is. Like you're playing it and you're like, yeah, like every time I pick this up, I'm like, I could be playing Breath of the Wild, but this is fine. There are definitely some parts where I'm just like, this isn't a puzzle. It's just not fun.
I finally got Breath of the Wild. Not for me, but for my wife who's been wanting to play it. And it was one of those like we just refused to pay full price for it, and it just never went on sale. And then finally, like Walmart had it down to like 45. It was like close enough.
Yeah, Nintendo games traditionally do not go on sale.
Well, I know. It was one of those we were waiting for something, but like we were waiting for like maybe a deal or something, like not like them discounting it, but maybe a promo. But the promos always say excludes Nintendo titles.
Absolutely, because Nintendo's just like Nintendo is sitting on a pile of money, being like, we literally cannot keep Nintendo Switches in stock, and someone's like, please, sir, a discount on Nintendo Switch, and they're like, that's cute. No, no, I played probably 3 truly great video games this year. So I played the new Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5. Loved it. Super huge fan of it. Just think like I loved the original Spider-Man for the PS4. I think but the Miles Morales game like iterates on the original formula. It looks great. It plays great. It's just,
so do you have a PS5 that you're playing it on?
Yes. Yeah. I'm a tiny bit neurotic, and so I tend to thrive in situations like, can you stay up all night to order a console? Yeah. What else have I been up to? Spiritfarer for the Switch, indie game about death. Loved it.
I haven't heard about that one.
It's really good. You play as Stella, the new Spiritfarer. Her job is to basically go in this like limbo world and pick up spirits, invite them onto her ship, cook for them, hang out with them, become friends with them, help them overcome like some like big emotional thing, and then ultimately she will take them to the Everdoor and they will leave forever for the next life. And you're just like, is this game going to be sad? And the game's like, extremely.
I'm sensing a theme here.
And then Hades has been my like real big play.
Yeah, I keep hearing about Hades, but I just haven't pulled the trigger. I have so many other stuff to play that I'm just like, because like I just got the original Spider-Man on PS4 like 2 months ago.
Love it.
So I'm still working my way through that.
Yeah, I put 105 hours into Hades, and I stopped playing it maybe like a month ago. So I was just like, I was barreling through it for like 2 months there. So good. It and Spiritfarer are definitely like my 2 big contenders for Game of the Year, although my honorable mention is definitely Miles Morales. Just, it's really good for video games.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I really enjoyed Animal Crossing. It's, you know, a lot of people have been playing Animal Crossing.
And there's like a resurgence because now they have like all the winter stuff, which I never really did much in the summer stuff.
Nintendo's been doing a good job keeping content. Like, I think Nintendo really here in a lot of video games could learn from this, and a lot of board games even could learn from this. But just like a like quick every so often repetition of like some small content updates has been a really good way to keep people highly engaged, especially on titles that you like. If this is your like primary thing, because you could even see like things like Catan doing this, right? Like Catan is their big thing, but if they're like, oh hey, it's winter, like we're gonna offer like a winter promo for Catan for like a small amount of money that could get people to be like, oh, I kind of want this. It's cute, like like they did with the Carcassonne things outside of the back of a Denny's at like midnight.
Or like what Welcome to did that. I mean, they did it all at once, but.
Yeah, but you can imagine Welcome to doing that on like a rolling basis.
Right.
Like, I'd be like, sure, I'll buy some festive packs. Like, I'll buy a summer pack. I'll buy an Easter pack. I'll buy like, like L and their cryptids pack.
Yeah.
Like all those holiday Munchkin booster packs.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started.
Yeah, I mean, like distributed at the right frequency and targeted to the right folks, you could really see that being a like big win. Because I feel like I feel like the industry has not really like localize the right way to do promos at scale consistently, right? Because like there's the occasional stuff like, you know, big media folks Kickstarters, you can get a lot of promos that way, and people are like, yeah, that's like perfectly reasonable way. There's things like Renegade did a box that you could buy from them that had a bunch of promos for all their games, including a bunch that several of us didn't have. And so you're like, yeah. There's the Brett Spiel Advent Calendar, which is very popular, but has, you know, 24 promos, 23 of which are for games you don't have.
Yep.
And there's like BGG will sell you some promos if they're in stock, which also sometimes works, but yeah, I don't know.
I think the biggest way I get promos is the game trade magazines, because they're free at the game shop, and so I pick them up and put them in the bathroom.
Right.
And then the promos in there, and I shove them in a box, and whenever I do giveaways, I'll just throw extra stuff in there.
Yeah, that's fair. I think most of my promos I get at conventions, because
that too. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, let me, while I'm here, like that's the easiest place for me to get a bunch of them, right? Is that like I'm like I don't have to go track them down. I don't have to be, you know, in a dark alley near a Norwegian Denny's being like, hey buddy, you got any Carcassonne promos? I apologize if there are no Denny's in Norway. I am not very good at my like brand geography.
All right. I think that's enough rambling in there. Let's get to some. Let's actually get to a game show. How's that sound?
Sure. I mean, I'm here the whole time, so
yeah. So before we get to that, Phil, why should people go back our Kickstarter or not Kickstarter? You got me talking about Kickstarter, our Patreon.
We have a Kickstarter.
Your OnlyFans, yeah.
Yeah, that one. You joke, but that'll come back later.
Yes.
So,
wait, what? Oh, that's right. I remember that. I know where that's going. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Why should people back our Patreon?
They should back our Patreon because I'm not gonna say that we're like best board game podcast talk show around.
Well, you can say that we own the domain boardgamepodcast.com. That is 100% fact.
We that is a 100% fact. Also, you can get pre-show shenanigans, post-show shenanigans. There's a live play of an RPG happening, and you don't get access to that if you're not subscribed to Patreon. It's very great. I play the captain of a ship,
and he's a cat.
So you can already tell everything's going downhill from me being in charge.
Yeah, it's Firefly but with cats. And the first episode's actually out now. I promised it'd be out in November. It did get put out in November, even though it was the last day of November.
Still counts.
Still counts. But yeah, we thank you to everyone that's supported us so far on Patreon. We've been able to do a bunch of cool stuff, like let's see, what is camera show? Yeah, like you can't see it and it looks really terrible, but like I've got a whole bunch of studio upgrades in here now, and cool things that I can do. And that was only made possible thanks to that little extra benefit to pick up on Amazon with that little extra cash from Patreon, which I think, Philip, the next step is we gotta work on you a video set. You know, so we can actually get you on camera.
I mean, I don't even know if people. I mean, do people really want to see this? They've seen it before.
The Patreon numbers go down afterwards. Like, this is not what we signed up for.
I mean, like, let's not scare people away.
So, even if you back at $1, you still get everything, all the stuff that he mentioned. So go do that. And with that, it is time for Chris's attempt at a game show.
Wrong button.
I mean, I'm calling this game show Board Game the News. So,
okay,
sure. So since we didn't have a news segment, I thought I would play around with it some. So what I've done is I have 5 categories here that are each one's related to a story that's been the past couple of weeks. And then there's going to be a board game related-ish question at the end. So Here are your categories. So, like I said, 5 categories. We'll bounce back and forth. People can pick a category. You'll both answer each category, but who's picking the category will change. So here are your categories. Kentucky's Finest Colonel. Wonder Where I'll Watch It. Mando, I Want the One. Only Fans will get this one. And Heads or DuckTales. So, Eric, I will throw it to you since you're our guest. Pick a category.
Break my heart. Do the DuckTales one.
DuckTales? Okay. So, I need to go here, and I need to click.
Such a bad mood about this.
Oh, not that one.
Uh-oh. The answers were just on the screen.
Yep. No, yeah, they were. No, stop it.
Print
Not
screen,
that.
print screen, print screen. Go, 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 go.
It's too late. I'm still in the Discord, so I'm just like, what?
Too many buttons now.
Yeah, Chris, you got what's going on there?
So I was trying to like actually show up the stuff there, but it was not working. So, all right, DuckTales. Here we go. All right, from Gizmodo, and I will have these links in the show notes if people are cared. Disney has announced that the 3rd season of the rebooted version of DuckTales will be its last season. The season and thus the series finale will air in 2021. But here's your question. In 1989, Milton Bradley came out with a DuckTales board game. The game, which has a 4.6 average rating on BGG, came with 7 character pieces. How many of these characters can you name? And we will go back and forth, and you'll get 1 point per character until I feel like we've extended this torture long enough. For help, here's the first paragraph of the BGG page with like the names redacted. Blank and his blank are after a tropical island treasure, but blank, blank, and blank are after them. Can they escape to the helicopter with the gold? So,
all right, I'm just throwing it out here. You know I was born in 1992, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Just getting salty. All right.
Philip, are you keeping score?
I can.
Okay.
Am I going first then?
Yes.
All right, I'll take the low-hanging fruit. Scrooge McDuck.
All right. Yes. There you go. Philip?
Donald Duck.
Wrong already.
What do you mean wrong already? He was definitely in DuckTales.
Okay.
He's definitely in DuckTales, but is he in this game?
He is not in this game.
In that board game? Okay, well.
No. Huey Duck.
Yep. That's another one.
Dewey Duck.
Yep. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Louie Duck.
Yep. And there's all the easy ones.
Mm-hmm.
I could have been Turbo.
All right. You got 3 left. I will give you a hint. The rest of these are baddies.
Oh, no, yeah.
And Philip, it's your guess.
Oh, it's my.
I promise this is the hardest question.
There were bad guys in this show? I mean, that's.
Oh, yeah.
I remember they were just like ducks and shenanigans.
But who caused the shenanigans?
Yeah. The nephews.
I mean, that's fair.
And hey to Zach D in the chat. You giving up?
Yeah, I got to pass. I got nothing.
All right, Eric. You got any other ones?
Flintheart Glon Gold.
Flintheart is one of them. Nah, you can keep going, Eric.
Okay, you want me to keep going?
Yeah.
Mob Eagle.
Nope.
Magica Dispel.
Yep.
I want to say so. I know this is wrong. So let me try John D. Rocker Duck.
Nope.
Goldie?
Nope.
All right. She's more of a deuteragonist.
All right. Well, you're already getting a huge.
Didn't Scrooge have like a like rival rich guy mogul?
Yeah,
that's the gold. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're already getting a huge lead over Philip, so you were close. It was Big Time Beagle was the other one.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's my fault for not knowing the names of the entire Beagle family.
I didn't expect much after the primary four. I thought maybe Magic and Dispel, but all right, Philip, let's throw it over to you. So that is one category down. You've got. Do you need me to reread the categories?
Yeah, because I did.
Kentucky's Finest Colonel, Wonder Where I'll Watch It, Man Do I Want One, and OnlyFans will get this one.
Let's go with OnlyFans.
Okay, so from Gizmodo, OnlyFans is billed as a subscription-based social media platform, but everyone knows it's gotten a reputation for being a place where people can subscribe and get NSFW content from their favorite creators. But there was a story
Spicy.
Yeah,
Spicy. That's what
there was from their favorite accountants. That's the way it is.
Accountants, yes.
Yeah.
Spicy content from accountants.
There was a news story though that came out that the platform has been doing pretty well in 2020, with estimates that the site pays out about $200 million each month to its creators as a whole. Like they're estimating that the company will have seen like $400 million, I think, in revenue for like the cut that it takes this year. So a lot of money there. So here's your question though. Bristol Fans is listed on Board Game Geek as a popular variation of the classic set of card games that it says known as Patience, but most people just call it Solitaire. So, but what your question is what year does BGG give as the release date for Patience, and the closest overall wins? So
is this Showcase Showdown rules where it's closest non-exceeding, or is it just like...
No, I think the rest of these are going to be closest without going over, but this is just closest in general.
Okay, I always have to ask if it's Showcase Showdown rules.
Yep. So Philip, first, what's the release date that they give for basically Solitaire?
For Solitaire?
Mm-hmm. It's listed on there. The official listing is Patience, but it's, Solitaire.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with something in like the card game. I'm gonna go really off the wall. I'm gonna say something in like the 1600s.
Okay, you want to pick an actual?
Let's go 1693.
All right, Eric.
1694. I was gonna ask if you want me to pick higher or lower. And I was like, I'll pick higher.
Oh, Philip, you're gonna hate this one. The actual release date for Patience is 1783.
Woo!
What the shit? Really?
Yeah. So you would have been pretty close.
I was just thinking like, oh, it's a card game. That stuff is.
Yeah, no idea where they pull that out of, but
I was gonna say earlier than you, unless you said something before 1700.
Wow.
Because I was like, Nintendo's pushing Hanafuda cards in the late 1800s. So that means the cards had to be enough of a thing by then. And I'm like, we'll fudge it from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all these like Western poker movies, so those are 1800s. So
Yep.
yeah. So it's like
Exactly.
Okay.
all right, Eric, it's back to you. We got Kentucky's Finest Colonel, Wonder Where I'll Watch It, and Man Do I Want One.
I gotta give my regards to Mario Lopez and go for Kentucky's Finest Colonel. I'm online.
All right. Yeah. In this story, nothing else says 2020 like the phrase KFC is making a Lifetime movie. Yet there is a trailer out for A Recipe for Seduction, a 15-minute Lifetime mini-movie airing December 13th featuring Mario Lopez as Colonel Harlan Sanders A new chef who falls for a rich heiress.
Good.
So here's the question, though. If you look on Amazon, there is a KFC branded Trivial Pursuit game. And I will have the link to it in the show notes. I want to know how much would it cost you to buy this board game. And this one we are doing Price is Right rules, closest without going over.
Okay.
So, Eric, how much on Amazon is the KFC Trivial Pursuit game?
$29.99.
$29.99. I'm chuckling because I'm expecting Philip to go like $30 even. All right, Philip.
So,
yeah, I would respect that.
KFC branded.
Mm-hmm. This is an official.
It's an official.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with $49.99.
$49.99. Okay.
I would have gone for that dollar.
That he would have been wrong. The actual retail price of the KFC Trivial Pursuit game, as listed on Amazon, $98.78.
Okay, so it's out of print. I was gonna ask. I was like, is it current? Because if it's current,
and this isn't this isn't like it had like under the seller. It said KFC. So
yeah.
Jeez.
Philip gets 1 point. Give him a break.
1 point. All right.
Me craving points.
All right, Philip, and with that, the board is back to you. We got.
All right, let's go with Mando.
All right, Mando. I want one. So of course, this was going to be a hard write because obviously Mandalorian's become like a big thing for a lot of people, including myself. Like I consider it the best iteration of Star Wars to date.
What's become a big thing?
Like the Mandalorian.
What are we talking about here? Huh?
Yeah.
The what?
Yeah, but the hard part is writing a question that doesn't give away spoilers.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
So there's no
just do a season 1 question.
There's no spoilers. That's still a spoiler. No spoilers in this one, but you just all need to catch up on it if you haven't seen it yet. But here's your question. So Nerf has made an official toy blaster version of Mando's signature weapon, that big, huge, like forked thing at the end gun.
All right.
$120 to get this bad boy. However, some of the sites that were talking about this, they were claiming, so this isn't an official claim, but some are claiming it is the longest Nerf blaster ever made. So I want to know, again, closest without going over, how long is this blaster in inches?
Inches, okay.
See, I own the other 2 longest Nerf blasters ever made. You put that one together, and that's about. I'm gonna say this thing is 48 inches.
48 inches. Okay. Eric?
That was my exact pivot point. I was like, if he says 48, I'm not gonna know what to do. If he says 49, I'm going lower. And I was like, 1 inch, Bob.
1 inch. Okay. The actual length of the Nerf blaster is 50.25 inches. That's how
I wasn't gonna go 49.
So that is a well over 4 foot long Nerf blaster.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how long it would be because I was like, well, if it's the size of a child, it's probably like 4-inch feet, and that's how I settled on 48 as my like right number. But yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty sweet. Like it's even got like this like cocking. It takes actual Nerf darts. Like this isn't a some weird dart looking thing. Like it takes the legit Nerf darts. Also, it was like the website. It was like this would be completely impractical in a actual Nerf fight because it's just a single shot loaded one.
Yeah, it's 1789 and you're firing your musket.
Yeah, exactly. And also that Nerf didn't give any stats for like how long it shot. So like the barrel is not practical. It's just for effect to make it look that long. We don't know what the actual effect.
Or
But-
like where the air chamber is. Yeah, the
Yeah.
air chamber is probably 6 inches away from the front of it.
Yeah. But I saw it though, and it's it's got like the Nerf paint job on, like, or sort of looking paint job. But I saw that compared with like the actual picture, and I'm like, with some detailed paint work, you could make it look just like like I
Yeah.
know people that would do that. So I threw that one in for you, Philip. I figured you would appreciate that one.
Nice.
So here's your last question. Wonder where I'll watch it. And that is, recently Warner Brothers announced that Wonder Woman 1984, the DC Comics movie that was originally supposed to release in summer 2020, will now be releasing on Christmas, both in theaters and on HBO Max, their streaming service. So that's what I'll be doing instead of visiting my family on Christmas.
I'll just be watching Christopher Nolan rage tweet about it.
I saw that. That and watching AMC get pissed of the fact that they decided, we're just going to release all our 21 movies on HBO Max.
I mean, maybe if Tenet hadn't been so mumbly, people would want to go see it.
That and the fact that like people were like, wait, Tenet came out?
Yeah.
But we're not going to see it. But here's your question. If you want to play as Wonder Woman, you can in the Funkoverse strategy game by buying the, it's labeled as the DC Comics 102 pack. So it's a 2-pack of figures. One of these figures is Wonder Woman, who is the other character that comes in the pack. So the answers...
Are we both guessing simultaneously?
You'll both guess, but you could guess the same answer if you wanted to.
All right.
I got you got options here, just in case you didn't know. So A, you've got Wonder Girl, aka Donna Troy. B, you got Steve Trevor. And C, you have the cheetah. So Eric, who is it?
I'm gonna cheetah.
Okay. Philip, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna go with Steve.
All right. Well, the answer, you should have gone with Eric. He knows what he's talking about. It is the cheetah.
I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that pack.
I wasn't sure. Like, I even went to your website to see which set you reviewed. Huh?
No, I haven't reviewed it.
Yeah, because I was like,
Yeah, no, I've played the Harry Potter one and the Golden Girls one, and I have the Kool-Aid Man one.
Yes. How can
What
you
an
not?
excellent choice. It's a good one.
So I don't really
Yeah.
have to look at the notes to see that I think Eric ran away with that one.
It was a 3-2, Eric.
But you didn't count all the individual points for the.
Oh no, I didn't count the DuckTales one because he got the whole category.
Yeah, the DuckTales one would have been a little unfair.
So there you go. That was Board Game the News.
Woohoo! That's what they get for canceling a show that I like.
Yeah. That was rough too. That's probably the most work I've ever put into one of these game shows. So, all right. I think that's going to wrap us up. Philip, you can roll that beautiful beam footage.
Sorry, I had to scroll. All right, that wraps up this week's episode, everybody. If you want to watch the show live, we record every other whenever we broadcast that we're recording. You can find that on boardsandswords.com/live. It's got our schedule. It's got links to all of our live streaming. That's good. All of our channels.
That's the name for bonus.
Yes. If you like this show, you got to check out boardsandswords.com to see our other show, The Dirtbags of Holden. That's where we take amazing RPGs that creators and companies put their hearts and souls into and completely wreck them for your enjoyment.
All right. Also, make sure to check out Eric's website, what'sericplaying.com, right? What'sericplaying.com. But if you want to follow him on Twitter, it's what'eplaying. Yeah. So if you want to send us email, comments and questions, feedback at boardsandswords.com. We're also on social media, facebook.com/boardsandswordspod. It's our official Facebook page. And we're on Twitter. I'm at Boards and Swords, and Boards and Swords Chris on Instagram.
You can find me on Twitter as Phil the Dirtbag.
All right. This podcast is also part of Punchboard Media. So is Eric. For other great gaming podcasts, videos, blogs, check out punchboardmedia.com. And then once again, check out patreon.com/boards and swords to help the show. And we'll be back in roughly 2 weeks with another show. Thanks everyone for listening. And in the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story, and I need to label this one not hybrid theory. Philip, once again, you could just like... Okay, it's over.
Got 6 seconds left.
All right. Thanks everyone that tuned in. Zach, you tuned in there right at the end. I'm going to end the stream now.